Welcome everybody to another episode of Fantasy News. I am your disheveled goblin host, Daniel Green, and today I would like to first just start out by thanking everyone for making the pre-launch of the Neon Ghost Kickstarter hit over 2,600 backers before it's even launched. Oh my god. If you are looking for any of the limited versions of the book that will be available, be sure to go ahead and sign up to this pre-launch page. It just blows my mind that we've hit that many backers before we're even live, and I haven't even been promoting it because I haven't been putting out content. And I want to address that second real quick. Skip to this time code if you don't care about what's going on with me. That's totally fair and valid. For my own mental health, I'm going to be limiting myself to 1 to 2 videos a week for a while. If you need mental health help, I will have links down below. But basically, I'm going to be limiting myself to 1 to 2 videos a week until I've kind of conquered my demons, so to speak. If you let the bad thoughts go unchecked for too long, they start taking over who you are, and I do not want that to be who I am because of how it affects others and how bad I feel right now. So I'm going to be working on that, and the channel here is going to be a bit slowed down until that is handled. I don't typically like oversharing. I'm sorry to say so much. I just got a lot of people asking, hey, you came back, but then things stopped again. It'll be a bit before they're back to regularly scheduled program, but they will eventually be. Why are you flickering? Flickering less now? I thought it was because that was over there before. Whatever. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump back into the fantasy news. And just because my mood needs it, we're going to be kicking it off today with my favorite segment, and that is going to be the cover reveals, starting with one from John Scalzi, titled Starter Villain. It features a cat, and I will never have a cover. Damn it, this is the best cover. A cat in a two-piece suit? That wins, especially with the title Starter Villain. Hook in, done, just the cover and title. But John Scalzi said, "Hi everybody, look, a book cover. The cover to my upcoming novel Starter Villain, which will be out September 19th. The cover is amazing, and it is the work of Tristan Elwell." Thank you for shouting out your cover artist, who did a tremendous job. And yes, cats are integral to the plot. I love this cover. Pre-order the book today. John Scalzi, you win the covers for 2023. And I'm not happy about that. And I have big A Song of Ice and Fire news if you are a Spanish speaker, because Penguin Random House has tweeted out that we are getting a new set of Spanish covers for A Song of Ice and Fire. They look like what is on screen now, and hot damn, these actually might be in my top 3 covers for A Song of Ice and Fire, full stop. Full transparency, my Juniper ones that I have, I think they're great because they're Juniper and they feel all nice and durable, but on a looks level, not my favorite anymore. So I really like these. I wish it was in English. More bad news for me. Like, I genuinely want to get these, but I can only imagine the conversation. One of my friends inevitably picks it off the shelf and just goes like, oh, why do you have a Spanish A Song of Ice and Fire? You can't read that. And I have to say, because it's pretty. But let's go ahead and jump straight on into some Sanderson news, because we have had a look at the new Alloy of Law cover. And I think, again, in this style, it's a good execution of a style that's not 100% anymore my type. I do think from a marketing standpoint, this is the kind of cover that's gonna jump out on a shelf, so they got that down, absolutely. But aside from the architecture, I wish it gave me a bit more Alloy of Law. But regardless, I can already tell this run is gonna be a lot of people's favorites just because of the color and style, so I expected to see on a lot of shelves. And finishing off the Sanderson news, if you are interested in Dragonsteel, the convention for the Cosmere and Greater Sanderson works, it's going to be happening 2023, November 20th and 21st. I don't know why I said the year first. And registration opens June 6th. My review of whether or not Dragonsteel is worth it for Sanderson fans is largely the same of when I said after I left the convention in 2022. I think if you're a Sanderson fan, it's exactly what you would expect. Yes, there's quite a bit of merch for his things, and that is pushed a bit, but not to the ridiculous extent I've seen at some of the bigger conventions that purely feel like they're aimed at your wallet. And there is a lot of very interesting panels at Dragonsteel, as well as a ton of authors on the floor you get to just meet. I met both Brian McClellan briefly and had a long, nice conversation with Mary Robinette Cole, who was just so nice and is now the reason that my cats know some buttons they push to ask for food? Because she told me that was possible, and I learned that, and now Mako asks for a treat about every 8 minutes. Though if you're expecting a convention as small as like JordanCon, it is substantially bigger than that. And very excitingly, we have finally had it confirmed who exactly Mira Sayal, the famous comedian who was announced to be involved at the Wheel of Time show 2 years ago, is going to be playing, and that will be Verin Mathwin. While many fans have speculated about this casting and gotten it right over the last 2 years, it has officially been confirmed. And I do want to give one piece of advice. If you are someone who often Googles about characters within a show or series you care about, be very careful Googling around Verin. There are spoilers openly displayed on Google. That's just something I think it's important to know. You may know Mira Sayal from her work in Yesterday, Beautiful Thing, You Will Meet a Tall Dark Stranger, and absolutely anything. Boy, am I happy to say that there has been a butterfly group that is now officially named after Sauron, with 2 butterflies already entered into the group, Saurona triangular and Saurona auricular. But my favorite thing about this article was just noted at the bottom and made me do, of course, an image Google search for the 3 other animals that have been named after Sauron: a frog, a dung beetle, and a dinosaur. And congratulations to Dr. Blanca Huritas, I hope I'm not saying your name too awfully, for this awesome addition to the Butterfly Encyclopedia. But I think I speak for all goblins when I say, these are now our favorite 2 butterflies. It's time to skim on over into the Stephen King news though, and for White Lotus fans, you might want to pay attention as well. Because Theo James is set to star in a Stephen King adaptation of The Monkey, from the creator of the Conjuring universe, James Wan. My Twitch chat this morning let me know Theo James has actually been in a few really great performances, but I've only ever seen him in White Lotus, and that guy played a sleazeball in that so well. But that is not nearly the biggest name to be coming in and touching on Stephen King this week, and I don't even think Theo would disagree with me, because Tom Hiddleston and Mark freaking Hamill have signed on to a Mike Flanagan project to adapt the life of Chuck. Now, throughout the years here on Fantasy News, we've regularly had to cover the fact that Stephen King is just constantly getting adaptations. He is one of the best-selling authors to ever live, period, as well as one of the most prolific, and has had an influence on the genre of horror that is undeniably going to last for centuries. So imagine saying this to Stephen King, which a commentator said. This is unbelievable. Dan Bungalow, which is just what I'm going to be calling him here, tweeted out an insult to Joe Biden, who, by the way, I'm not the biggest Joe Biden fan either, but do I think this tweet is accurate? No. To which Stephen King replied, but he's got a job, not a podcast. And there is a lot you could actually say back to this in terms of devaluing creator work. I know people who run podcasts who work like dogs, but instead, Mr. Bungalow here responded, yeah, you're right. Millions of listeners a day on a podcast. Okay, first of all, I'm going to stop mid-sentence there. It's not impressive to have millions of viewers on something in terms of work. There are people who basically do no work that get tens of millions of viewers, and that's just the way the internet's decided to work. But okay, moving on. Well, you're watching porn in your mama's basement, yearning for the days that people actually gave a shit about your dumb ass. We're not even done, and I could write a paper about all the things wrong with what this man just said. First of all, respectfully, I'm pretty sure Stephen King's mom is dead. I'm gonna check. It's kind of morbid. I'm sorry to put that there, but that's a weird thing to say to Stephen King, who's well past retirement age, but yearning for the days where he's still relevant. There are some of the biggest filmmakers alive today clamoring to still adapt Stephen King works. Nice comeback, dipshit. Get a job, loser. Get a job to a man of retirement age who still, to this year, puts out books at a rate that trounces most full-time authors. Can we just mull that over for a moment? Imagine being a flash-in-the-pan content creator who's probably not going to last for many more years. I count myself in that group. Speaking to Stephen King, like you have ever had the cultural impact or relevance of the man behind Green Mile, Shawshank Redemption, The Shining, Carrie, Dark Tower. Ego is one hell of a drug. But let's go ahead and continue further on into wider entertainment news, because we have also had the release date confirmed for Good Omens Season 2. July 28th, the series will be returning on Prime. I know it's not sci-fi, it's just science, but I also want to mention the fact that we got the Oppenheimer trailer to drop, and it's my most anticipated movie this year. I cannot wait to go see it. Why is my throat closing? But in more twisty, fantastical news, we also got a trailer for the produced by Emma Stone Poor Things. Directed by Yorgos Lanthimos? 1, awesome name. 2, I'm sure I did not say that right. And if you're a fan of The Lobster, for example, I'm pretty sure you'll be a fan of this. And if that's not your kind of movie, I understand. I will absolutely be seeing it. We also got the trailer dropped for Foundation Season 2. And I'm very confused about this, and I would be way more positive on this show if it just said, like, inspired by Isaac Asimov's Foundation. Here's structural integrity. I don't know. It's just so weird to call it Foundation when it takes such a hard left turn from what Foundation was. Like, it has some of the structure in the overall story, but, like, the beat to beat, it's almost as different as the Halo show. And in the final news we'll be covering here today, and maybe the biggest industry news of the day, Orbit has announced a new publishing imprint, which, if you're not sure what that means, it essentially is a brand that the company is going to be publishing under, and it's called Orbit Works, which is going to be primarily focused on digital publishing, and from this announcement seems far more focused on getting smaller authors out under the Orbit brand, though it's not going to be just a free market for everyone to publish under. You don't, though, need an agent. Authors will be published globally in both ebook and digital audio formats, with audiobooks being produced by the award-winning Hatchet Audio division. Orbit SPV and publisher Tom Holman said, "We are thrilled to be launching a new imprint that harnesses our team's expertise in publishing science fiction and fantasy, the exciting opportunities presented by high-quality digital publishers, and our commitment to author partnerships. Orbit Works will complement our 2 existing imprints perfectly, and we can't wait to welcome our first authors to the team." And apparently, Orbit Works is open right now already for submissions from authors with or without agents. But this has just been your latest episode of Fantasy News. Like and subscribe if you have not already, and be sure to check out the Neon Ghost Kickstarter pre-launch page so you get notified when it gets live to get front in line to try to get one of those beautiful enhanced editions. Join the Discord server and post any stories you want to see covered in the Fantasy News channel. Have a good one, y'all. Peace.